Hi, everyone. Chris Ashley again, and I'm really excited to talk to you about today's show. So, as you know, I had a spiritual awakening when I was 17, but I haven't really told the story of what led to that spiritual awakening and why I am the way I am. So, I thought that would be a really fun topic to talk about today. And if you want to see me giving this live as a speech, you can head over to my YouTube. I'm at Change Your Mind with Chris on YouTube. So there I am, sitting in my mom's room. The shades are drawn even though it's the middle of the day, and only the soft light from the hallway illuminates her silhouette in the bed. I'm around 18 years old. Yesterday, I felt like we finally had that breakthrough conversation where I said all the things I've been wanting to say and she received them how I wanted her to. I felt like we finally had that connection. I really appreciated our conversation yesterday, I tell her. She stares at me blankly for a moment. What did we talk about? She asks. And my heart sinks. Before I can answer, her eyelids heavy shut and she rolls over. As I sat there and watched her sleep, I made a promise to myself that I have kept to this day. But before I tell you about that promise, I need to back up a bit. When I was 12 years old, I was angry at the world. I went through trauma that severely impacted my life for a great many years. Now, after surviving 4 years of sexual abuse at the hands of a family member, that truth got out to my large extended family. Now, I had a tight-knit family that was this loud Italian family that did everything together, even sang anytime we were around each other. We had these songs that we called Grandma and the Sisters songs because my mom had all of these siblings. Well, when that big family found out what happened, the family split down the middle. Family members whom I had been previously close with told me they no longer loved me and I wasn't their family anymore. And then holidays became divided. The family of my abuser would take the mornings and we would take the afternoons, we being my parents and I. I was no longer permitted to see two of my cousins who had been my best friends. One day we were inseparable and the next day they were like ghosts. I have no idea what they were told about what happened to this day. So what impact did that have on me? Well, I was left with PTSD, a horrible self-image, lots of negative emotions like guilt and anger that I didn't know how to cope with, and self-harming behaviors. I turned to drugs, I turned to cutting, I turned to anything that would just numb this pain that I was feeling. Now, for those of us who have gone through a spiritual awakening, we often describe it as a defining moment in our life. It's like a line that someone took a Sharpie with and just drew this vertical line down our timeline, right? Clearly delineating two separate sides, who we were before the awakening and who we became after. So for me, that moment happened in 2002 when I was handed a book that completely changed how I thought about the world, changed my way of thinking, my way of being, my way of understanding and moving through life. And as I turned the pages, it hit me so hard that what was written inside of it felt like the truth. And like a sleeper agent, something inside of me woke up. So when I finished it, I started reaching for more, and I became insatiable. I started devouring every metaphysical, spiritual, new age, and personal development book I could get my hands on. I watched documentaries, I attended seminars, workshops, and retreats. I dove in headfirst to all of the teachings I could find. I became obsessed with metaphysics, quantum physics, reincarnation, yoga, meditation, the law of attraction, the ancient astronaut theory, sacred geometry, biohacking, functional medicine, and all different healing modalities. I couldn't get enough. Every book was like this new door opening in this unending hallway. I wanted more. I needed more. I was hooked. My life became one big quest to learn, grow, heal, and expand every aspect of myself. It became my life's mission, this purpose that drove me onward. But as I began to change my mind and get better, my mother began to get worse because her family had been ripped down the seams and she started to get physically sick with both serious illnesses and with strange afflictions that we had never even heard of before and doctors could barely explain. So doctors gave her pills to try to help her. And then they gave her pills for the side effects of those pills. And then they just threw everything at the wall, hoping that something would stick. My mom, well, she slept a lot. So at the height of it, she was on a fentanyl patch. She was taking about 11 different pills every day and sleeping for all but a few hours of daylight. She fell down all the time. She nodded off at the dinner table. And as you know, she forgot conversations we'd had the day prior. So this lasted almost 15 years while I lived with unbelievable guilt that I had destroyed my family and broken my mother. In the end, though, it was my mother who inadvertently became my biggest teacher. For every step she took deeper into depression and illness, I climbed hand over hand in the other direction, out of that proverbial tunnel. Because I saw firsthand what happens to a human body and spirit when they go down that path. And then I saw what happened to my own body and spirit as I decided to change my mind about life and the nature of reality. And I made a promise to myself that I would do everything I could to heal physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and that I would always prioritize my health in those categories. Now, to this day, in my free time, you'll still find me reading every book, trying every modality, and attending every workshop I possibly can, because I believe that healing and learning and growth should never be over. I love finding stuff that blows my mind wide open and sends my thoughts expanding into directions that I never knew existed. I love trying out new exercises, healing modalities, and programs to improve even further. Now, personal growth and development are such important aspects of life. Because if we're not constantly growing and striving to learn new things, then we become stagnant, bored, and we lose passion and purpose. So Tony Robbins says that there are 6 human needs that all of us have, but that we prioritize and meet them differently. And if you want a little bit more of an in-depth, I did a podcast show on the 6 human needs. But for now, I'll just say that 4 of the needs are physical needs, but the last 2, those are spiritual needs. And the 2 spiritual needs are growth and contribution. Now, I've already told you how important spiritual growth is to me, or just personal growth in general. But contribution, that is the cherry on top of the sundae. Because what good is all of that growth and knowledge if you don't share it and pay it back and use it to help other people? We are all connected in this world. Our inner world creates our outer world. And though people appear to be separate from us, everyone you meet is a reflection of you, and we all come from the same thing. We're all pieces of the same whole. Now, spiritual teachers and mystics have been saying this for eons, and modern day quantum physics backs this up. Now, I don't have time to get into all the details about that, even though I would totally love to geek out about it, and I have talked about it in past episodes. But for now, I'll just say that it is in everyone's best interest, yours included, to help other people, especially those who are suffering. We are all put on this planet for a greater reason than the exhausting cycle of work, money, entertainment, eat, sleep. Every single person you meet has a purpose here. Everyone has something they can teach you, and you have your own gifts that you're here to share with humanity. As they say, rising tides lift all ships. Now, the way this manifested in my own life is I had a cushy job in tech, and I left that job because I didn't feel like I was living my life's purpose and passion, and I didn't feel like I was adequately being of service to others. So I took a leap of faith and I left my job. In 2020, I launched my own yoga company called Unite by Yoga. And last year, I launched a coaching company called Change Your Mind with Chris. Now I get to teach others what I spent 2 decades studying, practicing, and absolutely obsessing about. My goal now is to help millions of people around the world. And the first step to that is I wrote a book. It became available for pre-order this week. And it teaches about a lot of the things that I've learned along the way. It is called Change Your Mind to Change Your Reality. You can pre-order it on Amazon or on Barnes & Noble. Just look up Change Your Mind to Change Your Reality by Chris Ashley, and I will also put the links in the description. So thank you so much for your support along the way. You mean so much to me, and I appreciate each and every one of you that are listening. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I'm at Change Your Mind with Chris. Same with YouTube, at Change Your Mind with Chris. I'm at Change Your Mind with Chris Ashley on Facebook and on podcasts. And I can't wait to connect with all of you. Have a beautiful rest of your day.